So you just mean to tell me that it's just going to continue to be more successful black women that's out here looking for a man, but they can't find one because the amount of black men available that are successful on their level are less and less and less.
And they talk about this girl that was in their neighborhood that jumped in the ditch because the dog bit her, and she went back and bit the dog's ear off. And it's like, that has always been like, we always bring up Penny, the girl who bit the dog. Like,
what you need to understand is that the situation that Caitlyn is going through right now is a glimpse of what it looks like to be in America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People talking a whole lot that don't have no facts behind what they talking about.
Okay.
Several calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it can get kind of tiring.
Yeah, it's just, I can speak for myself as an entrepreneur. You're active, and then especially if you got multiple things that you're doing, then you have clients and co-workers and things that, concern your business that's always contacting you. So yeah.
You got potentials calling, you got projects you're working on, and then you also got regular life things like take the kids to practice.
Yeah.
Plus, they need their doctor's note, boom, 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 communicate, which is whoever, your spouse is or whatever. So with all that, when I do get to the airport, that's like the official, like, I can't be reached
Gotcha.
time.
Gotcha.
Or even like when we travel, it's like,
and I don't care if I'm traveling with a bunch of people I know.
Yeah,
like,
leave me alone.
We'll talk when we get to our destination.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Right now, we don't need to have a full conversation.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know. That's just, like I said, you get boggled down with so many things.
Yeah.
Do y'all think it's part of the hustle culture? And what do you think about the hustle culture? Do you think the hustle culture exists? Let's start there.
Of course the hustle culture exists. We're all in a rat race.
For what?
Well, for
your
wealth that ends up turning into time.
Yeah.
Your time back. But yeah, everybody's in a rat race for that goal, that top mountain that they think is in their head.
Okay.
And I think that back in the day, it was, even in the 90s, still had hustle culture. Mm-hmm. It's not something that just came about. It was still like, are you striving to do something? Or I guess it was a little less because back then you just had a job, like, your parents just had a job.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really have these side hustles that all of us have these days. They
didn't even call them that, right?
They didn't
call them that.
They just something, but they had their job, their 40, 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But now it's like we had the internet and we got YouTube and all these other avenues that you can like make money. So it became a real thing that like, hey, work your job, but also find a way to make some, you know what I'm saying? So I guess but I think the hustle spirit mentality.
It's always been around.
I think either you got it or you don't. Because the people that I hang out with, my circle tends to be, everybody just has the same mindset of like, I'm just going to make something happen.
Yeah.
And then the people that I used to hang out with, I hate to say it, but they're the workers.
Yeah. Yep. What's workers mean though nowadays?
To me, is you go to work
9 to 5. I think
as a 9 to 5 person can't be a hustle person.
Of course
they can hustle. Yes, I just feel like the ones that I guess we're carving our own time, so to speak.
Yeah.
To where we've been in the 9 to 5 industry, so we have seen the benefits of it, yes, but it's just
every 2 weeks, direct deposit.
Everything is good.
Insurance, 401k, matching 401k.
You know what I'm saying?
How you win in corporate America, you talking about bonuses, upwards 20, 30, 40, $50,000.
How you go up in corporate America. Yeah. That level of percentage and that level of get back is as low as the percentage of an entrepreneur taking off.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of VPs and that in the community. You have low-level workers or mid-level workers who their bonus may be 3%.
Yeah.
You got workers out there that their bonus is matched of their salary. So it's
unfortunate. That's unfortunate. And then industry too.
Yeah. In the industry you work in.
So I mean, again, and the people that are watching this aren't going to know, but I don't ask about people what they do in their life according to work.
Yeah.
But you say your day-to-day life, do you feel like you encompass any particular industries in the things that you participate in?
Well, I work in the music industry.
Okay, music.
I'm a full-time entrepreneur in the music industry, in the media industry as well. But they both connect.
They merge. They merge.
Yeah.
They merge.
I grew a music platform out here in Houston that has grown to 135,000 followers on Instagram. And
Okay.
like millions of views on YouTube. So that is where like most of my time goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you have to? Do you feel like that your identity is attached to that now that you created that, or do you feel like you could step away from that and it'd be like no biggie?
I believe the jobs I held prior tended to hold my identity. It doesn't feel like it holds my identity. What it really does is just secure that I can create something with my hands. That's what I feel like my identity is.
That it came out of you.
I can put something together.
And you could do it anywhere if you wanted to.
And I could change, yeah.
You go to Philly, do it in Philly.
I could be,
Yeah.
city. It could also be a whole different field. But I believe that I could create something with my hands that people will appreciate and grow. That is where I feel like my identity is, not in just that particular brand.
Okay.
'Cause I'll sell that brand
Okay.
in a heartbeat for the right price.
Right price. And what about your industry? If there's an industry that you touch in your day to day, like I said, I'm not calling this work. I'm just saying life.
I mean, I feel like just kind of blessed that the things that I do, I love to do. So it doesn't, even if when I was working doing something else that was a job, I didn't feel like my identity was tied into that job. I don't feel like my identity is tied into what I do. It's just something that I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if you really know me, then you'll know like, oh, this guy's the I don't know, I'm like a weird, like, kind of, I got the coach in me, but it's like my real identity is separate from like just me picking up the camera. I shoot a lot of stuff, do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's just like my creative side of me, but
An extension.
yeah, extension.
That's what
of
it
me.
feels more like.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
just an extension. So I could do it every day and I don't feel like dragged out or nothing. Like the people that if I'm expressing like my frustrations with what's going on. I mean, we all have frustration. We're not like everything we do every single day.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I love what I do, so I can get through all of the frustrations. I don't know what you do specific, but I'm pretty sure like if you love what you do, then you can get through the day-to-day kind of like, all right, this kind of humdrum. But then, you know what I'm saying? But then you pick up, you get
Y'all never bored through a day.
Oh, no.
See, that's the difference though.
I don't have the luxury of being bored.
So I used to sound frustrated with young folks and then adults that would tell me they bored. I said, how did you get there? I have never been bored in my natural life. In my head, I can have a whole play going on.
Yeah.
In my head, I can imagine things and ask questions and in my head.
But some people can't do that. I just learned that people don't have like an inner monologue going on. I always got something going on up here. Some people's head is quiet. I'm
you
like,
can teach people to do that.
That's
you got to start them down here.
I guess.
Yeah,
You gotta start them down. Your children have to be able our parents. Let me stay within the rules. Our parents our parents and their generations before them did parenting on a behavioral conditioning method.
Okay.
So what does that mean for us? That means that if you had children and you just let them do whatever they wanted to do, some people are familiar with the Montessori school approach. They learn at their own pace in a group setting. There's not pedagogy that's associated with a grade or an age. When you limit children, you get limited adults.
Usually.
If you want children to be expansive, the ideal way to raise children is to allow their curiosity to never stop. I see a child eating dirt. They may swallow, they may spit it out. How was it? Did you like it? In America, that might seem like child abuse. But if we go over to Africa, there are some children that eat clay. If you go up to East Texas, some children eat clay.
Yeah.
Why? Clay has all the nutrients of all this water that they put in a bottle and sell to you for $10. We don't imagine children as a part of our species that needs to be expansive to grow. We just allow them to function out of our trauma from our own childhood. So we raise our children with our limitations. And if you have partners, they get those partners' limitations too.
Yeah.
Why is a child gonna stop doing what they're doing? Either an adult tells them to or evolution tells them to. If they stick their finger in a socket, they say you're being irresponsible by not stopping them. But when they stick their finger in the socket, what do they learn?
Not to do it again.
Not to do it again. Now, does my child got to get hit walking across the street because I told them, I didn't tell them not to walk across the street and look both ways?
No.
Accidents happen. Accidents happen. My two of my little nieces decided that while their mom was busy, they were going to walk out the house. It was on the Ring camera. 4 years old, 2 years old. Okay. They decided they were going to walk out the house together and go to a park. And they did. They walked out the house, hooked a right, went down the street, hooked another right, walked across the street, went to the park.
Yeah.
The average person thinks, what if they hear a story like that?
Why weren't they watching the kids?
Why weren't that person watching the kids, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Some could happen to them kids.
Something could happen to them kids.
Yeah.
Right? What else?
Just what you call it, simply that. Why?
Yeah.
Why? How did they even get out the house in the first place?
All right. So average 4-year-old can reach that hand on that door right there. All right. They reach their little hand up, they can turn it. There is these people are being great children to their parents. Their parents have suffered and they're sick. And so their parent would go out the door and you hear the little boop, boop, boop. Parent goes out the door. Parent comes back in the door. So nobody's thinking it's the child walking out the door. So the children walk out the door. The first thing I did was try to validate the parents. I said, y'all are great parents.
Yeah.
And they said, what?
Yeah, it's not that.
You just said accidents happen.
Yeah.
They said, what? They said the police came, knocked on our door. They had our babies. We thought, both of us thought the babies were somewhere else. I said, y'all are great parents. You know why? I said, anytime you have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old that make it to their destination means that y'all have taken them to the park a lot. That's the first thing. Secondly, how did the baby get back home? She must have had the sense to tell the police officer where she lived. What's the third thing? The children had their hair done, they had clean clothes on, and the 2-year-old walked out with a banana. So they're fed and well taken care of. Y'all are doing great things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of children in the house and you're working from home and the other partner's out on the streets, working, going to do something. And it's just by happenstance that an accident like this could happen. We could always think of the negative things, but also think about that when we think about people that work 9 to 5s. I used to be like that. I used to say, man, I told my brother, I said, bro, you got to stop that, man. Giving up all your time to the man. We talk on the phone every morning. I said, what you doing? He said, man, just work for the man. Work for the man. He said, picking this cotton. I said, oh, for real? He said, okay. And so one day I get an opportunity, a rare opportunity. He said a couple words, these people ain't letting me go to my boys' football game. I said, you know how you can solve that?
Yeah.
He said, huh? I said, yeah. I said, the freedoms that you want, you're not going to get unless you change how you do things. You want to go into an office, try remote work first. You ain't got to work for yourself, try remote work. A person told me they would never do remote work. Guess what?
Do remote work.
Remote work now. And they've been doing remote work for the past 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like I would never diminish a 9 to 5 person because here's the thing. Entrepreneurship
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Come on, talk it.
And I have no desire for anybody. I have a cousin that I always used to push and be like, man, come on, like we could go into business together, this and that, but that's not what feeds or fuels him. And so everybody's not the same. So if working and having a secure job and a secure check is what's comfortable and what's better for that person, then go for it.
Yeah,
I know I can't subscribe to it.
Yeah,
for myself.
if you're doing it then you're doing it. That's cool. But when you call me and you complain backwards and forwards every single time and you're talking about it, eventually I'm gonna crack and tell you, hey man, you can maybe try some other things, think of something on the side. I'm gonna give you some examples just to kind of help you, trying to help you help yourself.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think some people, I forget which book I was reading that they basically said it could have been Rich Dad Poor Dad, but just basically some people are workers.
They are.
And it's just not in them to want to run a company or to work for themselves and accept that. The people that want to be entrepreneurs, it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But if you are, you got to be willing to work more hours than what you do when you work 9 to 5.
You'll be at 40 hours.
You know what I'm saying? You're responsible for everything on your own, but the gratification that you get on the back end is a little bit more.
For me, it's definitely priceless.
Yeah, I don't understand. And the other thing is, okay, if I was going to school to be a doctor, I still think I will probably want to. What's the ownership of being a doctor? What's the entrepreneur side of being a doctor? I would probably want that. Like, no matter the
owning
profession,
your own
I would
office.
want my own.
Medical practice.
But that's what it's just in me. I would not want to go and be like, I have to.
Yeah, be at the hospital every
lawyer, whatever. I want my own. I don't know why. I just always been like that.
There's some economics of scale that's been pushed out that there are more Black females at a higher rate.
Graduating college?
I got to make sure I'm saying this right. At a higher rate obtaining degrees and graduate degrees, terminal degrees, than any other group that exists. Any other group. Now, that's saying a lot.
But, I mean, it's also because we got 13% of America's Black. So it's not like we have 33% of America's Black, 13% is Black. So the amount of white women or Hispanic women are more than Black women in America. So, the number is... It feels good to say that we got a lot of Black women doing, because we're already the smaller group in America anyway. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's
I'm following. I'm glad you feel me with this.
That means like a good thing, because we're not the biggest group. We hear it so much because we are Black, so we hear the Black cry. We hear people talking about how, oh man, we don't, we need to, like when Obama was president, we need him to take up for Black people more. Yeah, but it's like, bruh, you got to understand too, the big majority of this pie, we're not even the big majority. We're the small, so we have to do more. Minority. We have to do more in order to.
We always
continue
to
get
do
better.
More.
Yeah,
we always had to do more. I'm under the same aspiration now. I wish in school, I think me and you have had this conversation before, that entrepreneurship is taught a little bit more than. You graduate, you go direct to college, you do your 4 years, and or do a trade school or whatever. I wish that was pushed more, because you would have a lot more whole people. I know when I went through the school process, as intelligent as I feel I am, as my test scores show that I am, the box that school was really never worked for me. It just did not feed me. And there are people out there that it doesn't. And so I just wish that there were a couple more opportunities in high school and middle school to really kind of navigate those people. Because I don't see it often enough.
Not in the schools. But how was you getting to, what was your point with the women?
Well, no, this is actually a good segue, because what happens is that we see that dynamic amongst Black female.
Right.
But we see the opposite dynamic amongst Black males. We see a lot of Black males being able to then go out and say, I want to be an entrepreneur. And a lot of Black males are starting businesses. But why would we have to start businesses? Because of the barriers that exist
in the corporate
that were
field.
artificially created to keep us from those places. And then oftentimes we have a cultural standard as well. How many times do we want to be told what we can and cannot do? And we segment that over into larger dialogues with policing and things of that nature. You on your own whip, somebody pull you over, asking you where you going. My mama didn't ask me where I was going, but you finna ask me where I was going. So these conversations actually do need to start in the home. But the home is so broken that we're not having that conversation like this. And we're hoping that somebody will see it and start the dialogue, because School is garbage. It has been garbage since people don't understand why they go to school. I'm okay with people's practicing religion. I advise people, and I like to give them more advice. It's a business. If you want your business to succeed, let me help you. How you help it succeed is you make it more inclusive. How do you make your business more inclusive? You tell the people the why. If Steve Jobs could tell people the why for these expensive phones, then certainly we could tell people the why you should attend a religious institution or why you should go to school. School is so inundated with antiquated processes. We're not a military industrial country anymore.
No.
And I don't know if this is going to trip over into the boundaries, but we might as well know that at this current level, educating people on core things to keep people enslaved in a 9-to-5, if I can suggest that, the 9-to-5 works in a civil stance. When you go to a stop sign, why don't people just run through that?
Because we have
Laws.
Yeah,
You've been taught since you was this small to do what? Raise your hand when you need something? Do what? Do what? Do what? Stand in line, straight line. We're going to the bathroom. Your bladder is indicated in conditioning. Your hand is indicated. Your mouth is indicated. Everything, your voice is indicated because they consider that if we were to keep a group of our species civil, we have to create conditions of civility. Humans aren't civil people. So when I see kids fighting in school, I don't see kids that people want to call thugs. I don't see thugs. What I see is that the education system has failed this creative person. Why not put jiu-jitsu in schools? Why not go back to when they had home ec where you could teach people before they left high school how to cook, how to clean, how to sew. I know how to do all that stuff.
I do too.
But I didn't learn it from the school. I know how to sew. I know how to cook. I wish somebody would tell me that somebody got to cook for me.
That's a tough one because I guess my take on school, I think I told you before, it's one white guy. I was in college. I went to school in St. Louis and I was working, I was actually a busboy at that time. I never forget the white man. I go to clean up at the bar and he was like, oh, what school you go to out here, man? I was like, I go to Webster University, school for theater arts and whatnot. And he was like, he said, you know what you go to college for, right? I'll just never forget, he was drunk. He just said, you go to school to learn. That's what you're going to school for. It's not like you're going to school to you're not going to use the degree most of the time with what you're going to school for. So I've always kept that conversation in my head.
I agree that, school is to teach you how to learn. The thing,
they fail at that too. Go ahead.
They do. But what I do agree, you go to school to learn, but honestly, you can crack open that same textbook and read it at home without the debt of going to school first.
The college debt.
And then secondly, I think, at least for college, what I always saw school as, even when I went to college, and I guess just as because how I see life, as a networking opportunity.
Yes.
That's why you have fraternities and sororities and things like
Lifelong
that.
network.
Because you build those networks. So that's what I always saw school as.
Right.
Sure, going to calculus, that's cool and all, but building that conversation in the quad and all of that, and going to the seminars that the school offers and the resources that the school may have that you can access, that if you know how to access, because a lot of them don't. But that is, in my opinion, what school is for.
Right.
If you don't know how.
Right.
If you do, then other than the job saying that you need a degree, what are you going for?
So the normal person doesn't know how. The normal person needs the social environment in order to, because we all are followers of our surroundings. You're the sum of your 5 friends, just put in a kind of a blanket statement. But yes, so if you don't go to school, high school, or, high school's, we're paying through taxes. But
you gotta go to school.
When you go to higher education
version of it.
Right. It's like when you talk to people from Europe or from other countries, they always say university. They say the university. It's such a privilege to them to go.
Now, any African, they say, I've been to uni. I've been to uni.
It's a privilege.
In America, I don't want to put a bad stigma because we live in a place. I mean, it is a bad thing. I understand with the money involved. That's because we live in a place of money rules all. You know what I'm saying? It's a business.
But
it's
that's
just like
kind
prison.
of the
Prison's
point.
a business.
Why push something if we know that it's a broken system to begin with?
Well, I'm not saying don't push it. I'm saying that it's still a need for the majority because most people don't have the same mind. It's only 20%, 50. I don't want to put a percentage on, but a small percentage of people that really don't even need college. But a lot of people need that social. They need it because your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25. So if you're not going to continue school at 20 years old, you're gonna be in these streets being a bum at home,
Which is true.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
You do have more opportunity to fall into something that is
Right.
apprehensive to your growth.
Right.
Yes. But what I do think is that I'll never forget. It threw my mind off. Still to this day, have a bunch of friends. I went to a very multicultural school. Bunch of Filipino friends, Asian friends, and me and my friends, mainly black, a few Latino, blah blah blah. My black friends and me, we wanted to go to college. We wanted to go to the Howards and all of that. And I'll never forget, most of the Asians and the Filipinos in our class that graduated with honors went to HCC.
Yes.
But the thing is, when we talk about culture and conditioning and literally, this is why you go to school, we think, oh, we got to go to this university. We got to go do all of this because that's what we've been conditioned and told. But they paid $300, $500 for per class and spent a lot less money to get the same education and transfer to institution that'll give them the rest of their 4 years. So I just think the whole system is kind of jumbled up, and it's more so in pressure put on from our parents and society to say that that's the way you have to do it, or that's the way it should go.
Which
That's
is
the legitimate way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the ignorant side.
That's the legitimate.
I'm not ignorant. Don't have to be a bad word, but that's the ignorant side because your parents just don't know.
But that's the thing.
And they can't know what they don't know.
Yes. So the
when
reason
do we break that cycle?
Now,
I think it's the reason why I like social media. This is the reason why I do like it, because we get to have these podcasts that are out and people having conversations. Because not everybody's book readers. So when you do hear information, not all information is correct, but just saying.
But it opens the brain.
Open up the brain. So then you can now know like, oh, there are other ways. So, it's not just like you got to know an Asian person that actually did it a different way, because every system, in my opinion, has loopholes behind it that you can go.
Always.
And what you just stated to me is the college loophole.
It is.
Go to the
community college. Yeah.
You don't have to go to the university.
But didn't think about it like that until I'm hitting on my friends. I'm like, oh, y'all did. I'm over here thinking, oh, I'm a miss being on the yard and all of that. But that wasn't the mindset and the end goal.
No.
But the system was broken at your school. The system, I don't know about your home. I'm not going to speak about that. The system was broken at your school because a counselor, and I didn't have any counselors coming up through school. I can tell you right now, I counseled myself. I figured myself out what I was going to do. I went to school with my brother. He was my older brother. I caught up with him. I was in college, started college with him. And then I went back and did a year at a community college. And I tell all the people I know, I did 63 hours in 1 year. I graduated from college early, did all that stuff. College for me was means to an end. So, but my daughter, when she went to college, she knew in 8th grade that she wanted to be an actuary. She chose an HBCU. She's there thriving, and she did join a sorority like her mother. And I told her, I said, honey, you don't have to do this stuff. I told her, honey, you don't even have to go to college. I said, if you pass 6 tests in America, you can make $300,000 a year as an actuary. Some people don't even know what actuary is. Actuary is a person who determines how much money you pay for insurance. So if you smoke, you drink, you drive fast, you have tickets, you've had accidents, an actuary uses mathematics to forecast that. They break every data point about your life down so that State Farm, Geico, Allstate, they can all determine, Progressive, how much risk they have to take on to insure you. Those were relocated to not people that look like my daughter, that didn't play basketball all her life, not beautiful, brilliant. They didn't look like that. In fact, you didn't have any breasts, because the reality is it was for pretty much white and Asian men. And here are these young Black girls now thriving, coming up because they're strong in mathematics, they're strong in STEM. But why do they become strong in STEM? They become strong in STEM because when their upbringing tells them there is no limits on what you can do.
Yes, sir.
Sports acclimates people to this as well.
Yes, sir.
You get knocked down, get your back up. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I preach it all the time.
Get back up.
So my girl be like, why are you want all these kids to play sports? Because that's how you learn life lessons in team play. You learn how to be accountable. You learn how to be a teammate. You learn how to be a leader.
And you learn how to get yelled at too.
Yeah.
That you're not always gonna do everything great.
Thank you.
That's the one thing that really like scares me in this level, and I'm not even say generation, but just where we are now. People are afraid so bad to fail. People are afraid to fall. You know, because I work in music, one of the things that I always hear in different settings is get it wrong in rehearsal.
Come on.
Stop trying to be perfect or quiet in rehearsal. Get it wrong in rehearsal. That way, when it comes to day of, you pretty much got it. But I think sports is the perfect breeding ground for it. You got coaches and mentors that are looking out for you and believe in you, not only for your skill, but the potential that they see in you. And a lot of kids need that. They may not get that at home, get that in life. They need that.
And you can, like how you talk about women with the degrees. My thing that gives me to think about 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Okay, women get more degrees in college, right? Black men do not. It's going like this.
Black men have been incarcerated at higher levels. So that's where we are, yeah.
But I got a 14-year-old. So seeing how like the young Black kid, you know, it's like it's not just, because me, I can listen to Tupac, I can listen to music back in the gap. I'm still going to school to go do theater. It didn't matter. Side quest, but Tupac was in the theater too.
In the theater,
but, you know
yes,
what I'm saying?
yes,
Just saying.
Don't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they think everything is lame and everything is like that. So then when you get older, knowing that women out there are more women in this world than men.
Yeah.
So that means there's more Black women than Black men.
Yeah.
And then the amount of Black women graduating, the amount of Black men going to jail. So you just mean to tell me that it's just going to continue to be more successful Black women that's out here looking for a man, but they can't find one because the amount of Black men available that are successful on their level are less and less and less.
This
it's
is
just gonna
systematically happening.
That's
though,
how it's about to, and we have a shift. There is not, in my opinion, not religiously, not education, there's not a North Star anymore. There used to be what we called or thought was the American dream. You know, the husband, wife, picket fence, 2 kids, and a dog.
That's what they wanted you to believe.
That's the viewpoint. And not saying that that's what it should be by far.
Right.
But I think
is that not a part? Not to say that picket fence, but that family
dynamic.
Yeah, I think that's
where we lost.
Yes, because we don't even do a lot of family things.
I think also though.
Wait. Let me make sure I understand you. Wait, when you say that's where we lost, are you saying that if we had that North Star, maybe we all would be better? Is that what you're saying, or not?
No, okay. But I get what he's saying. That if we had more family dynamics, that we wouldn't be so far off. But what I'm really saying is, we had a North Star with the whole American dream. It's definitely a skewed thing. We know that living in America, we know that's not how it is for real. But I think we've also conditioned through woke culture and everything and like the kids say, everything's lame. All that we've set out to build is lame now. It doesn't work for us. It even is the entrepreneur in me pushing down the norms that are built in the 9-to-5 society. So it's just like now everybody's kind of doing their own thing, which is totally fine.
Right.
But without a central star, then what are we really? What is the goal? What is the thing to acclaim? Because with that being said, without a North Star, you're gonna have more Black women and just people in general do something that they see other Black women doing. If your 13-year-old niece sees her aunts and her sisters and her mother do that, then she's going to probably do that same thing. If your 13-year-old son sees his dad or lack thereof doing those things, then he's probably going to do the same. So I just think that we kind of lost the dynamic of a goal.
Now, that's interesting because that's interesting. I have talked about these dynamics of goals as a mass, a society, but American society, and I know y'all probably have traveled abroad. American society is sick.
Yes, we're so much
It's
different,
sick.
bro.
If you go anywhere other than America and you walk down the street and you are hungry, people will swoon to you to feed you.
Yeah.
They will swoon to you. That you will not be hungry. If you don't have a place to live, they will provide you a shelter. It may not be in their bed, but it will be in their home. America is sick for monetary reasons. And if we are really to be fair about it, capitalism has failed America as a social experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're printing out.
And
fake money.
you know, the concept that I'm a minimalist. What does that mean? I don't buy anything I don't use. And if I don't use it, I give it away. I don't sell it. I give it away. Everything that I have, I use it until it no longer is of purpose. I don't buy any brand clothes. I wear everything that I get out of a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. And that's my standard. Why? Because everything that I looked at was a product of commercialization. And I taught that to my children. I said, the goal is for us to not progress, but to regress to the standards that our older great grandparents had. We should have our own gardens and know how to feed ourselves. We should take the time to breathe fresh air and work with our hands. It makes us feel like our day counts for more.
Yes.
We ought to limit our screen time so that we're able to appreciate having a conversation with humans around us. And we ought not to judge no one because we don't know where they come from in life. I would rather the whole world look at me and think the worst of me than to live a life that I know is branded on things I know better than to do.
Yes, sir.
I know better than to go to Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus, Fendi, Gucci, Prada, Lululemon. I heard about Lululemon. I was so surprised. I said, is these the type of things you can go to Walmart and Target and get? And they said, yeah. I said, so I want y'all to know what Alibaba is. And there's young people listening to this.
Maybe you can make some money.
Yeah, if there's young people listening to this, I want you young folks to know something. The commercialization is built to make sure that you stay poor. And if you take some time to love yourself, you won't spend your lifetime working so that that one person can be wealthy and you can be poor. Both of these people right here, these humans, they have creation in their talent pool such that they provide an entertainment through their creation, through their creative arts, so that you are able to have visual pleasure, auditory pleasure, sometimes intellectual pleasure, trying to figure out how they caught that angle or how they made that sound. Consider that when you create something in a capitalistic society that people don't need, and that they take the time that they have in their 9-to-5 or their entrepreneur, and they make a set amount of money that day. Let's say they made $150 that day. If they got to take their $150 and spend it on a shoe that you made that don't have any type of prosthetic feel to it to help you along the way, but it looked cool. If it looked cool and you making $45 on a shoe that you paid $5 for, now I know that's harsh.
But that's true.
It is true.
But it's true, and that's how capitalism work. Capitalism work so that the masses have to acquire time lost so that you can have something. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Oh, well, technology wins. We have Amazon created so everybody can be their own storefront. But the majority of things that you see on Amazon are made by people in countries that can't afford to wear it. India, parts of China. We got even people over in Africa making these things, and they can't even afford to eat.
Yeah.
But the people who understand the game, I'm gonna put you onto the game. Alibaba. What's the other one, guys?
It's one on, I forget the store. But Alibaba's the main one.
Alibaba's the big one. It's just buying stuff in bulk and then turning it over and putting it on an Amazon store.
You can put your own title on it.
Printify,
Yeah.
Shopify, all of that's the same nonsense. They're getting bulk fabric from India, from other countries where people can't even afford to eat. We talk about white people and gentrification over here in the trade. That's third ward for y'all, not from Houston, so y'all don't know. See that in fifth ward, fourth ward, second ward. If it's a ward behind it, we talk about gentrification. Over where TSU is, first house I ever bought in my life over there. Okay, it was a triplex. Gentrification looks like where you bring your wealth into an area that's dilapidated and then you change the per capita income, driving up the tax structure in that area. You drive up the cost. And some people say, well, you bring value in. When we go to other countries and we pour our US dollar into their country, I think the Naira is like 18,000 Naira to $1. The peso is at $18.10. 18 to 19 pesos to $1. When we go over to their countries and the dollar is inflated, we gentrify them. It doesn't matter what color we are. Gentrification is a construct of power. The manipulation of that power creates colonialism. And we do the same colonialism to other countries when we take our US dollar and bring it over there. I'm gonna stop because I said a lot.
No, well, I mean, it's tough because what you're saying is true. And I understand what you're saying. So to have the understanding of that's a part of it. And I like to trade stocks. I'm always looking at the market and seeing everything. So knowing like, I mean, in a nutshell, the world is unfair. In a nutshell. And so whenever my kids say something about that's not fair, I'm like, it's not supposed to, the world is not fair.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
You can't literally change the
Yeah, and one person cannot. So the only thing that I can do is affect the people around me and try to get them up on game, like you were just trying to tell these, maybe people that don't know, is that you can do something about it. You can make better decisions. You can control your own destiny. You can do these things because then you're going to affect 2 or 3 people as well. And to me, that's like the best way, the realistic way. Because even when we pick a president that we do like, just to say somebody that we do like, he can't change everything about America either. But it's the same thing, like you said, you go to another country, travel, I'm pretty sure you travel some places as well. So it's like when we go to these other places, I think that, number one, their food is better. They eat high quality. I can eat a full meal. I don't feel heavy.
High quality.
You know what I'm saying? They have breaks, siestas in the middle of the day. Yeah. So you can go home to your family.
Philippines, take a whole nap in the middle of the workday.
In the middle of the workday. So you see what I'm saying? And then they live longer because they live by their family, and you get to enjoy, or just live by people. So you're talking to people. You're doing things that to me is essential for your brain. Your brain needs these things. So to me, that's why when you were saying, I think it's a family thing. I just feel like the family North Star, whenever you see those videos about old people on their deathbed and they say, what is something that you would say to somebody that's, that's still alive, or, before they die, what would you give them? Is, a lot of it is follow your dreams. Some that, okay, we got that knocked out. Continue to follow that. I understand that. The other thing is spend time with your, say I love you to somebody. Do the things because it's gonna go away one day.
It is.
So these North Star things, these people, they're not doing nothing. They just play games, and they just or they just all about self. It's no.
And it's so funny how we have technology and all of that to expand our minds, and we're turning more robotic than we were
Wait a
before.
second now.
Yeah.
Say that one more time for them because they might not have heard what you
We
said.
have technology to expand our minds, but we're literally turning more robotic than we ever have before. We are conditioned to sit in front of screens,
Yeah.
to play monotonous games that cause us to do monotonous things.
Yes.
And your brain function, you're starting to lose the inner webbings that is supposed to make you do critical thinking.
Yeah. You said conditioned earlier.
It's conditioned, but
It's conditioned.
psychologists are hired to create these things. Apple works, Apple, Microsoft, all of these tech companies work with psychologists to figure out what is the most addictive way to modify behavior.
Yeah.
How can we make this behavior modify based on the data that we have? What you said about turning the human into the robot, it's gonna take some time for some people to really grasp what that means. And the only way that they can be cured of that is giving themselves a diet, a technology diet.
Man.
A break from it all.
Yes.
I've said this to you before while we were there in Brazil. We both talked about it. I feel like the people when we went to Brazil are way happier. It's amazing.
They're
to me
tuned in,
how they
aren't
have
they?
so much less,
But they
or what we consider less, and they're so much happier.
So much happier.
The joy and just the authentic smiles and expressions and communication
every
is
time.
way different. And that's why I enjoy going over there as often as I can. And in other countries as well. You know, I laugh about Colombia and Jamaica. I'm like, God, do they move slow? Like everything.
Why do they move slow? Why?
It's so slow.
Why do they move slow?
Because they're not in a rush. They don't have these time limits that we have
Restricted.
installed in our country that we currently live in.
Or that if you're not moving fast enough, what?
You're not doing
You're gonna
anything.
miss
You're
something.
wasting time.
Yeah.
You're missing
And so it literally, but I remember going like, especially when I was younger, going and being like, yo, this is taking forever. Like, everybody, why are you driving so slow, sir? Come on, like you gotta, but just really realizing, stop trying to rush time. Just enjoy it. And so that I love going, or really not even having to go out. I literally spend my life now making sure that I move a little slower.
I just feel like you say, the everything, because you start out asking us what we do and you know how we kind of do what we love. That's why I feel like we're kind of unique because we get these other experiences. We get to go and see these things. And very blessed, very a lot of favor that you get to experience these type of things. And then when you come back and you just look at everything, you be like, we are so behind, but yet we think we're
so ahead.
So ahead.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So behind.
We've lost, and then like you said, we've lost pivotal things, the growing garden, the things, we've lost things that are pivotal to our development.
Skills, actual skills
Yeah.
that can help you have a better life. Let me just jump on that in Brazil, man. I gotta tell you, I just love hearing that. Because honestly, I feel like if we do anything right in this life, it's putting that seed, echoing that seed into the ears of not just our people, but anyone willing to listen, that simplicity wins.
Yeah.
Simplicity wins. Now, that doesn't take away from what I'm going to speak for myself. I have an inherent drive to be great at whatever I do to the best of my ability. If I had to come in here and rethread this carpet, I have never rethreaded carpet in my life, but God dog it before the end of the year.
I do.
I will know how to rethread carpet to the best of my physical ability. I used to be, oh man, I can't use those words. Okay. I used to be rough. I used to be rough. I'm rough around the edges. Well, I'm telling you, I would be thinking I was more than myself, and I was in that hustle culture mentality. I've got to get there. I got to make the most money. I was living in Manhattan, man, and on Wall Street.
Different,
You know, I was, and then in my mind, you know, I said, why am I doing this? This doesn't make any sense. my grandmother and grandfather didn't even have a whole high school education. All they wanted for their 6 children, they had 8, but 2 died at birth. Their 6 children was that they get a high school diploma. My grandma used to say that. And then her children came along, and I don't remember what their aspirations were. If they wanted us to get be college educated or whatever, I don't remember. I know my mom had 3 things. She said: a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. And and so when I talk to my African circle, they always say, yes, we all say doctor, lawyer, engineer. It's like, we gonna give you 3 choices of what you can be. but it one of you. Yeah. And then I talk to my Indian circle and my Pakistani circle, and all of them, they all say the same thing. Our parents gave us choices of what we can, and then they told us what we're not going to do. And I said, it's so funny how people are limited by where their parents start them from. And if your parents can take off their limitations, you can grow.
Always.
But it's only because of our parents. And this isn't a shot against parenting. This should give people a humility in parenting. You are always going to make a mistake as a parent. As brilliant as I think I am, I know I've made mistakes. And the reason why is because we don't know what that child is going to hold on to. You may have given them millions of great memories, tucked them in every night, read books to them. You don't know what they're going to hold on to.
No doubt.
Are they going to think about the time that you were 5 minutes late to pick them up from practice? Or the time that maybe you said that you want to cook dinner, but you took them out to a restaurant instead? How are they going to measure your performance?
Yeah.
And their performance measurements are not objective. They are not objective.
I think that's why with parenting is like have a lot of time to like spend with each other, like, eating dinner and doing type of things, because I don't know where I've heard this before, but somebody said that whenever you bring up old stories, and it's like I don't know how far back you can go in your memory, but it's usually the story that you tell the most. That's how far. So once you stop telling these stories,
You forget them. Yeah.
So you, in the times of sitting there talking with your family or whatnot, like you and your family, I know you love kicking with y'all because y'all talk a lot, everything. It's like you're gonna have a better journey through life because y'all talk a lot and talk about the old times and bring. So your memory is gonna be there versus when, man, we just never talk. So they can only hold on to the bad things or the things that because you never gave them anything other than.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think family conversations are so important. I know me and my family, we have, like you say, we do talk a lot. We have deep conversations, heavy debates about some things are about nonsense. Some things we went over 1,000 times. Nobody's opinion is changed. But we have one story that I just love that we always talk about, and it's about my grandmother and her sister's friend growing up. They're from Arkansas. And they talk about this girl that was in their neighborhood that jumped in the ditch because the dog bit her, and she went back and bit the dog's ear off. And it's like, that has always been like, we always bring up Penny, the girl who bit the dog. Like that.
They don't even know Penny.
I have no idea, but Penny is always funny to us. Because what human girl went into a ditch and bit a dog? But like that stuff, it does build
pretty something with your family.
Just a love and a vibe. And I feel for the people that don't necessarily have that. Because either by choice or just by the sheer fact that they don't have that proximity to that type of family. Yeah. But you're right. When you are able to share stories, and like I say, that one was a comical one, but just the things that we do get to pass on knowledge. My grandmother's always pushing us into the things that she can remember and making sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes. Yeah. You know, even if it is, she wanted us to go to school, it more so is, I don't want y'all to be held back or limited as we were.
Because she don't know.
Oppressed.
Like right now with the technology, it's like way beyond my nana. They be like, man, I don't know what y'all be. They just trying to work their phone and.
I told my grandma.
Would you send me the remote control? Come on, man. My grandma talking about what's all this.
What are these buttons
to do? Just like all she want is
just press play. It's fine. Yes, but and that's the thing. I told my grandmother I had over 130,000 followers, and she was like, "Is that good?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yes.
It is good.
You see,
But that does not mean anything to her. Just she wants to make sure, okay, you're successful at what you're doing. Okay, cool.
I think those type of North Stars and those type of things, but to couple the whole conversation, it's when you speak on the black, because I speak on the black women,
culture.
how are we going to continue to have good families when we don't even know how to like, it's like we not equally yoked. I know equally yoked means a different, but that's part of equally yoked is that we're not even being equal anymore. It's like, and then it's just not enough options. So of
We got to
course-
take all the weight off. That's what it is.
But
Take the weight off of education. You got a degree. You don't got it. You working, man. I don't care. Look, is your mind right? Is your heart good? Come on over here. But we're not teaching that.
But with the education part, when you say education, I guess my brain doesn't go straight for degree. To me, it's like, are you just
Educating yourself.
Yes. Are you just
Are you conscious?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just saying not half the brothers, but just a lot of brothers are just like they not doing nothing, dog.
And see, so there's that side.
know what I'm saying?
There's that side. There is that side. I know that side exists. So I wrote an article a while back and published it in this magazine. And it was like, I was like, let me give y'all a glimpse of my reality. And for years, I had coached out in the Western Houston and nothing but nuclear black families with mothers and fathers doing really well. Pouring, by the time they get to me, $250,000 in training camps for football, basketball, track. I mean, they poured. And then one of my friends wrote a book because she wanted to take the people that I had known and said, let me talk to the parents and say, how did you build a culture of excellence? I said, the problem is that the media pushes that this is the exception. But for me, this was the standard. It wasn't the standard in my house.
Yeah.
In my house, it wasn't the standard. In my house, structure, discipline, military was the standard.
Right.
But in the house of the children that I interacted with, and 90% of them are D1 athletes or either in the NBA or the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
Excellent.
That's a ridiculous stat. People need to know that we are in prison. However, more white males are in prison because there are more
white
by
males.
population.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We need to tell our young people, please start the process, the difficult process of critical thinking,
Critical
because
so important.
people will present statistics to you and you'll use it in a conversation, but you don't know what you're talking about. So instead of you giving us a statistic or a number, step back sometime and say, does that number make sense?
You're right.
Because a percentage, if you say what's 13% of the United States population, but you don't know that the United States population is in the hundreds of millions, then you don't have a good framework for what that really means. So sometimes you need the raw number so that you can get at the real thing. There's 3 people right here, 3 humans. That's what you know. You don't know nothing else about us.
Right.
You may have heard us talk about something, but you don't know. But you'll get in the comment section and you'll disagree with something that we've said. Right now, there's millions of eyes on a little girl named Caitlin Clark. She's 22 years old.
Right.
Yes, she's a WNBA player. Yes, there's a lot of you out there that didn't care about female sports because you were chauvinistic, you were misogynistic. You didn't even know that females played basketball professionally. You might not have known that we had a team here called the Houston Comets with some of the most spectacular female athletes in the world.
At the summit.
Multi-layered. Cheryl
Houston
Spruce. All of them, they were
excellent.
just brilliant and beautiful women. But Houston couldn't keep a team for women. So the Houston Comets went away. What you need to understand is that the situation that Caitlin is going through right now is a glimpse of what it looks like to be in America.
Yeah.
People talking a whole lot that don't have no facts behind what they talking about. The big conversation around Caitlin when she came in, oh, Caitlin, they mad, they're jealous of Caitlin. Well, first and foremost, you need to be an athlete before you speak on this.
Yeah.
Because if you've been an athlete, you would have known. If there's an athlete coming to my town and I'm fixing to play a game against them and they done blown them up in a local newspaper,
I'm about to go off.
I'm about to go off. Why? Because we finna find out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be either you or it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
All the greats had to go through that.
That's how it has to be. This is how it has to be because this is at the core of our species.
Yeah.
Our species evolves. The strongest and the fittest survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not because of our race.
Yeah.
Race is a construct. Not because of our gender. Gender is a construct. Not because of our religion. Religion is a construct. Not because of our political view. Politics is a construct. Not because of our cash on hand or money. Money is a construct. Do you know money used to be something like this? I grow corn, you grow potatoes. That's why.
That's
Currency. That's
currency.
change. We got to stop that. We can't let people do that because now we won't have 1% of the people make so much. We have to neutralize that type of talk.
Let me ask you this. Do you think she should have been on the Olympic team?
No. The reason why, let me give you my explanation. Let me tell you why.
I mean, I get both sides, but
Kaylin is suffering against the WNBA players here.
she's top 20 scoring.
She's struggling.
But she's top 20 scoring.
Scoring is not the whole game.
I'm not saying it's the whole game, but she's a shooting guard.
Yeah, that's what she does. Right. I mean, the only claim to fame that little Caitlin had coming in was her three-point shot. Right. And if people would pay attention, this is the funny part. There are so many three-pointers made in the WNBA because they're not dunking.
Yeah.
These women are shooting lights out from the three-point range. We're talking about whole teams above 40%. Steph Curry is at 40% on average. They consider him great.
Yeah.
Whole teams are shooting 40%.
I'm just saying when you top, well, she's top, I don't know, she's top 15 still, but she was like 13 or something like that when the last time I checked. But in the NBA, somebody's top 13 scorer, there ain't no slack on him.
Oh, no.
And also in the NBA, as in men basketball, we hold a slot for the college's best athlete. Shaquille O'Neal, remember when it was Christian Laettner? Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
They put Christian Laettner in there. We hold a slot for that. How we grew the game globally to where we do have our foreign players coming in was making sure that we entertain at a global level during the Olympics. If the WNBA wants to get paid money, and they want to get the bigger contracts, you have to grow the game. One way to grow the game is to put the most popular player on the league. Now, I believe the other side of it is y'all going to make a dog out of Caitlin Clark. Because what happened to Kobe Bryant his rookie year? You made a dog out of him because y'all told him, oh, man, this young buck ain't that good. Who is this dude coming in? Remember, he missed the threes, missed like 4. Y'all made a dog out of him. They're going to make a dog out of that girl. And because everyone's talking and not just letting her just be a regular player and just play. Because the media's doing it. I'm not saying it's her.
Yeah, it's the media. Because honestly, so I do coach for the past 2 seasons.
Reese, it could have been any of them. I'm just saying they should bring
Angels handled it very well. I think I do think that
the villain role. So I think
she's handled it well. I think there's a dichotomy still. There's a racial dichotomy from the politics in America that is superseding the essence of the game itself. And Larry Bird in his conversation about how people were utilizing his skin color against Magic Johnson, he said, I didn't care nothing about that. I just wanted to play the best. Yeah. He said, I wanted to play the best. I wanted people to see I'm here.
Yeah. Those two were definitely the best.
They were the best. Caitlin Clark, to me, is just a kid with great parents, and man, is she killing the game. Yeah. These discussions around her are not basketball discussions. No. We need to talk basketball discussions. Basketball is a physical sport, always has been. People are homophobic. People are, what's the other word I'm looking for here? There's always been a sexual component tied to females. Yeah. And the construct of race relations with the WNBA is also still at its origin story. Yeah. Because there is a problem when people don't see themselves represented in a sport. So let me go ahead and throw it back to people real quick. Hockey. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are black people that play hockey.
There are.
I can't name one right now off the top of my tongue, but I know there is. Golf. Before golf was ever a thing in my personal life, we grew up in the country. We was po folk in the country. Mama doing everything she could. Grandmama doing it. We raised. I didn't know anything about golf until a guy named Eldrick came along. Eldrick came along and his daddy was a Marine, taught him how to play golf. He said, I couldn't get into these golf courses, but my son's going to. And then we had the birth of Tiger Woods. People all over the world found a Nike hat, a red Nike shirt. If they didn't have it, they put a t-shirt on. They put on black slacks, black shoes, and went out with a stick if they had to swing. Venus and Serena, they were not the first.
But
We had Arthur Ashe that because people were so ignorant at the time, they didn't realize that HIV and AIDS were two different things. And they didn't understand the mechanisms, the biological, biochemical mechanisms of STIs. And that's for y'all out there that are still saying STD, stop it. They're sexually transmitted infections. And the reason why they're given that category is because we need to stop demonizing people for getting things through sex. Now, the reason it's demonized is because, again, we want to condition the masses. If you haven't been tested, go get tested. It's something that's good for you. And if you have been tested and you find yourself in a positive test result, then talk to your partners about it. Now, going back to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal human being. She epitomizes the game just like all the other women that came out of college. College educated women. 4 years.
yeah, they play for it.
The rule came down for the men. We have to make it mandatory. Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, all these fellas, LeBron James coming out of high school, getting
Still feel
paid
like that's
billions of
still-
dollars.
I feel like they should be able to come out of high school.
Now listen, why did they do it? Money.
Yeah.
You know what the money, follow the money. Colleges make money off of these young bucks.
Yeah.
And oh boy, there's this little mafia company called the NCAA.
Yeah.
And boy, they like their money. And they know the colleges like their money. And they know that because there's people like yourself that are media producers and TV personalities, they know that we get TV deals. That means we get corporate money.
No doubt.
Let's look. So Caitlin Clark jersey selling.
More than the Dallas Cowboys whole franchise selling jerseys.
Why? Because people are excited about her.
Yeah.
They're excited about, there is no other marketability other than perfection.
Yeah.
When I come out, I am showing you something. And yes, the 3-point shot is sexy. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
The 3-point shot is sexy. Steph Curry was this big.
Yeah.
This big. You saw him in college. Y'all saw him in
Yeah.
college.
Davidson, baby. He was going
And no disrespect, Dale. No disrespect. He was never on that level.
Yeah.
Never. No disrespect, Seth.
Yeah.
Seth will never be on that level.
Yeah.
Why am I saying words like never? Because I want our community to recognize it's not a race thing.
It's just a
Caitlin got a boyfriend that played basketball. Bet you didn't know it. He probably could beat her one-on-one. I bet you didn't know it. Caitlin has a brother.
that she's the beat on.
Bet you didn't know it. Just because you have several members in your family and you come from this lineage and you have this amazing greatness, let's talk about Michael Jackson, doesn't mean all the people around you are going to be great. Why? Because you have to have opportunity meeting preparation. You said blessed that we're able to travel. It's not so much a blessing to me.
Yeah.
It's a product of the labor that nobody saw y'all put in. Behind closed doors, the tears that nobody know that you shed, even if they were like Jay-Z said, I can't let them see them coming down my eye, but I gotta make this song cry.
Yep.
The culture said we're not supposed to, but there's days and nights that you all as entrepreneurs said, hey, you know what?
I gotta let this out.
Man, am I gonna make it?
Yep.
Man, do I got imposter syndrome? Do I feel like I need to be this person, but it ain't gonna be for me? Will people like the stuff I post? I feel like I'm pouring quality into it. Will they like my eye? Not like that movie Get Out, though. You know how that guy said you need to get.
That's crazy.
You remember?
Crazy scene.
You remember? That was a crazy scene.
Man, speaking of, and this is just, I don't know, we're rapping, but I just want to say this one, because I saw this today. I was like, this is interesting. I'm going to bring it up. Life,
Come on.
The Best Man, and
1 and 2.
no, I know. Dang, Mike and Alicia.
Bad Boys?
Not Bad Boys.
Life Best Man.
Best Man and they was trying to get some when they was in middle school. Mike and Alicia.
Are you talking about Love and Basketball?
Love basketball. Dang, what's
The Wood?
The Wood.
The Wood.
Which one are you taking off the list?
Oh, off the list?
Off of those
Best Man.
Life.
Oh, I already got my answer.
And The Wood?
I got my answer.
What is it?
I'm taking Life.
Off the list.
Off the list? I don't agree.
Is a movie.
That's
If somebody came to,
We talking about Eddie Murphy
And March.
said
and
taking
Martin. You said taking off, right?
like it's
Like would never watch
would
again.
never watch.
Oh, I didn't know if it was never watch. I thought of the three, if you had to lose
You
one
have to drop
forever.
one.
Yeah,
You have to
lose
drop-
one forever.
Lose one.
I'm gonna lose Life.
You wouldn't watch it again?
I'm gonna tell you the emotional impact it had on me when I was watching it. It looked like me on a hamster wheel, and opportunity was right outside of it. I visualized myself being on a hamster wheel. And y'all don't know what we're talking about. Y'all go look that up. There's 3 movies. One's called Life, one's called The Wood, and one's called
The Best Man.
The Best Man. The reason I keep The Best Man, because the best man is, to me, the summation of life. We don't go through life without relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships are complicated, they're messy, and people need to work on themselves.
Life. That's life.
That was life.
Life. We gotta get along. We gotta stay in here. Life.
That was.
We gotta learn. We gotta grow. And then, hey, you know what I'm saying?
It may have been a prison movie, but it was.
And that's the element that
guess
I
that's-
want to
yeah.
see us conceptualized outside of that stigma. But the other one, The Wood,
The Wood. I thought The Wood was just a classic for.
I would, but I would cut The Wood.
you would cut The Wood, huh?
I would. The Best Man.
The best man.
Absolutely
That's
not.
a good question. Everybody thinks it's different.
Absolutely not.
I cut the best man.
Tell me about The Best Man. Then you
I
tell
would
me
cut
about
the
The
best
Wood.
man because there are other movies in this world about that type of situation. A love drama. I mean, not a love drama, but I don't know what comedy.
Rom-com moms.
Rom-
Yeah.
You can find a rom-com somewhere.
Yeah.
Cannot replace an adolescent black kid learning
the
booty
rom-com.
for the first time.
The Wood is a coming to age movie.
That's something that I just want the son watch.
That wasn't a rom-com.
That wasn't a rom-com.
The Best Man was not a rom-com.
What is it?
That man almost walked out on his wedding. Like that was
I may
a
almost
rom-com.
walk out on mine when
His
he-
best friend deceived him. That was way more than a
that-
rom-com.
There was so many complicated layers to that.
That was
To that movie.
Wait, what do you think the core of the story was, though? If you were
For The Best Man,
The Best Man, let's talk about that real quick before we jump.
the core story of
the core of the story to you.
persevering through complicated relationships.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you what. If I find out that my
Platonic
best friend
Platonic.
slept with my wife during our bachelor party,
Was it
He
during
made-
the
It
bachelor?
wasn't during the bachelor party though. It was while we were in college.
No, that
I was
was
saying when he found out.
you remember he was reading the book on the toilet. He
That
said,
was stupid for writing it in there.
Yeah, he shouldn't have wrote that in. He shouldn't have wrote that. That would have been. He should have took that.
See,
right. But that was dumb.
the movie was over in that scene.
But no, but no, I
Done.
do agree with you. There are things in people's past because and we were just having a conversation before this started about married at first sight. People come with so much stuff in their past that dictates their future.
Yeah.
In that particular one, man, it's so hard because you got the culture, you got the gender role, that gender role of if my best friend,
But he
if
was
my
cheating.
best friend touched.
Cheating too.
Oh no, he was the. Can I say the word? Oh no. So wait,
what?
give me
You
a second.
bad
Let me take that one out. Take it out. Okay.
Let me tell you. The movie was over. They had to write it at the end.
The
The movie
man
was done.
was cheating on her, and you mad.
No, look, let me tell you
The
something.
best
Your
friend.
sins is your sins.
Okay.
But when your sins
All right.
conflict with my life,
Well, I picked the wood. It was great talking with y'all. Yeah.
but life got to stay.
Tell me
Yeah, why the
the reason, the rationale.
I feel like while the wood was an amazing story, it's not something that I just had to go with. I think it was way more of a comedy than a underlining moment of life that just really needed to be.
Maybe because I was coming of age. I was 14.
I think the feel of it, and the
You was
time
younger.
period, I was. But I still watched it. I watched it once it was a VHS, but I still watched it.
I was in theater.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Oh,
When he said, "Man, I give you $1," he said $1. I was like, "Man, you get $1." Boy ran up and said,
I think that was cool, but I think the impact of it. I think Love and Basketball had more of an impact than.
"Well, that's why I didn't put that one in because that one
Because I
was
would have definitely chose Love
best
and Basketball.
to take out."
And
I would chose Love and Basketball over The Wood.
yeah,
Yeah.
Best Man in Life. Those are
Yeah,
things.
life is a top 100 movie in American history to me.
Okay. So here's the thing. And this, I don't know if anybody's ever talked to y'all about this, and this might be too old because I like to study history a lot. Imitation of Life.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with this film?
Yeah.
Imitation of Life
I'm a movie.
may be one of the best movies of all.
It's well crafted.
It wasn't one of the best, but it's up there. It's good.
The only reason I say is the only relationship I cared about was the mother and daughter's relationship, and how we also look at our parents and how our children may look at us one day
Yeah.
and think, I don't want to be like you. You're not cool enough. Not knowing all the struggles you went through to get there.
That'll be that's a fact of life as always. We do.
I was rebellious.
Yeah.
I was rebellious. So once I got a chance to see, oh, wait, these people don't got to struggle because this is what they do, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Well, why ain't we did that? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We as soon as we start this comparison, because I mean, I just gotta be real about it. I'm grateful I could go through this without the profanity, but still, I just say the thing is that I really do believe that if we are our authentic selves, we gotta recognize our own flaws. Our own flaws. Yes, there's a ton of stuff out here to keep us from being pointed and really focus on our goal. Those distractions are there for a reason. We're not going to outdo distractions with young folks. One of the girls on my basketball team, I coached a varsity basketball team for the past 2 years. Yeah, we did good this past year. My poor babies, if they ever see this, y'all know I already told y'all don't know nothing about no ball, and and y'all barely making it. But I had one. I love all my girls, all my kids I've ever coached. I had one. I said, ooh, this person, bright. Ooh, this year gonna be fire. Distractions. Distractions.
Yeah.
I couldn't even estimate the distraction that was coming.
Dang.
Distractions, just boy crazy.
Yeah.
You know who you are if you're watching it. Boy crazy. Crying on the bus. We going to a game.
There's no tears. There's no tears in baseball. League of Their Own. I'm just saying. When it comes to movies,
Great movie.
great movie, man. Great movie, man.
It should teach you something.
Yes,
And
it's an invitation of life. Just like the movie just said.
teach you something.
It's an invitation of
If you're
life.
doing it well, I think, and this is one of the things where I often tell people, I didn't watch television. We didn't watch television growing up and stuff. There's a lot of things that we didn't get a chance to do. And then as I became an adult, I had that mindset that, oh man, these people are just wasting their life doing this. But then I realized, like we talk about percentages, 99% of the people out here watching television.
Yeah.
I'm not, if I want to relate to people, I'm going to need to catch up. So I had to catch up on music.
Yeah.
I had to catch
You
up
never
on-
got to watch Martin as a kid?
Oh, there was none of that in the house. None of that in the house. No.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
People that I get that.
We were country. We were very strict discipline.
Yeesh.
We had categories on music that we could listen to. We were structured.
Yeah.
What
was the categories?
Gospel and country.
Dang, so you can listen to the sorrow.
I know all the stuff that people. Boy, I'd be surprising people in Texas. Boy, I'd be surprising them so big. Boy, I'll go out and I'll do like friends in low places, and they's like, oh my gosh, really? I'm like, yeah, yo, I feel this stuff, man. I feel it, like, you know. And then the Tennessee whiskey, like, yeah, I said, this guy here is more rock and roll than he is country. Because I said, he got a lot of soul. This guy here, he's around me like Leonard Skinner, you know. But I mean, it started me to make sure that I'm always expansive in music. So global music, my brothers and I sing gospel music coming up. It's like, these are all things people wouldn't know about you just to look at you, but we are more diverse than any particular thing can hold. So if we give ourselves grace, we can get to know a whole lot about folk.
Right.
Because folk are multi-talented. I'm so grateful we're out of the LinkedIn world.
Yeah.
LinkedIn says you can have one job. One.
Not a Jamaican.
Yeah, the minute you wanna-
You have as many as you need, sir.
I'll be doggone it. But I said, look at this nonsense. And so I sat down with one of my partners up in Baltimore. I said, man, we need to do something about it. I said, you know, I figured out, let's do this. How you just put president on everything. President. You know, mark all your stuff down. President on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
throw them off.
And it's like, we're just not one thing, and there's nothing wrong with being one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The producer of this show is a meticulous at his craft. It is so good that he should have more of an audience for his craft. However, that level of excellence in that particular area isn't a summation of his life, but simply a journey on one of the paths of his life. He might just be just as well as good as marksman. You know, if you put an AR in his hand, he might not blaze over the whole door. He might actually hit a central target.
I don't want to give him a shot.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I listen, I'm glad he may know it, but I don't want to find out.
The way he drives.
This was fun, y'all. This was
Good to
fun.
meet you, dog. Dog. It was a pleasure. You got it?
Yeah, we
We weren't looking at you.